Welcome to my video on the history of Roseville. We will look at key events and businesses from the early 1900s to present day that shaped Roseville. From trains to technology, there's much more in the city than you might think, so let's get started with one of the first major businesses. The Pacific Fruit Express in Roseville was the location of the world's largest artificial ice plant. The plant would produce massive 300-pound ice slabs, which would then be loaded onto the reefer train cars to chill the fruit that required refrigeration. The ice house was a major employer with hundreds of employees, but the work was also dangerous and required employees use certain protective gear to keep themselves safe. But the work slowed in the early 50s due to the introduction of self-refrigerating train cars. As more cars entered the track, and demand dropped, which resulted in cost cutting by laying off employees. But then in 1973, the ice plant closed down, and next year in 1974, it was officially demolished. In 1905, rumors spread that the Southern Pacific Railroad was planning to expand its railroad yard. In December of 1905, the Southern Pacific ruled Rockland insufficient for expanding the railroad yard. Roseville was finally selected in early 1906 because of the good grade location is extremely close to the junction that connected the Northern Line and Eastern Line. As soon as the railroad was starting to build the yard in the small town started to explode with business and people. During World War I, Roseville was hit by a severe influenza epidemic in October of 1918. This epidemic killed 40 local residents of Roseville, and a makeshift hospital was made in the Tanner Rooming House on Vernon Street. Many people worked day and night to cure the sick. The railroad strike of 1922 was a pretty short-lived event, but it caused many hardships for out-of-work railroaders. But by September, the strike ended with workers returning to the same low salaries as they had before the strike. After the stock market crash of 1929 is proclaimed as the start of the Great Depression, also known as the Dark Days of America. By December of 1930, the Roseville Register had about 200 families that were out of work. And as Roseville's leading employer, Southern Pacific laid off 232 employees and cut the payroll from $252,000 per month to just $38,000. Then, 1 year later, in December of 1931, the railroad announced that they were cutting wages by 10%. This created a massive problem for families being short on money, and the city noticed it and created a group of representatives from many local organizations to aid the unemployed. World War II had a major impact on the community, with many young boys signing up for the draft, and the rail yard taking lots of war supplies through. The war created a massive worker shortage due to the amount of people leaving for military duty, which had to be filled by high school students and women. Roseville sent about 20% of its local population to the war, or about 1,250 men and women. About 1,000 new people moved into Roseville as the war went on, and the housing problem became more acute, which then required for more housing to be built, so two new housing developments were built, totaling 52 new homes. In 1955, the Folsom Dam was completed to lower flood risk for the land below and to create a sustainable water and electricity source. Today, the dam is still there with Folsom Lake and the American River. The most important addition to Roseville's business district in the early days was the Roseville Square Shopping Center, which started construction in 1961. The modern shopping center was the first of many more to come due to the new shopping center, and the area around it quickly developed with more businesses and housing being built. Aerojet started operations around Roseville in 1951, but started producing JATO rockets, or jet-assisted takeoff rockets, from 1938 to 1942 for the U.S. Army. Later assisting in the development of ICBMs, or intercontinental ballistic missiles, such as the Polaris, Minuteman, Trident, and Titan. And in 1969, Aerojet made rockets for the Apollo 11 mission. And after that period, Aerojet ended up working for the US government with military contracts for various rocket boosters, such as in the air-to-air missiles today. During major conflicts, such as the World Wars, Korea, and Vietnam, many supplies traveled through the Roseville Yard to aid conflicts with mostly no issue, except for the Roseville Yard explosion of 1973. During the morning of April 28, 1973, as a train containing bombs for the Vietnam War stopped in the railroad yard. But after descending the Sierra Nevada mountains, the brakes were hot, and as the train sat, the sparks created by the brakes caught the boxcar containing the bombs on fire. The resulting chain reaction caused a huge fire and major explosions, which caused a total of $5.6 million in damages to Roseville and neighboring communities. HP established a 500-acre site in 1979. They manufactured and marketed many products, such as computer and other various networking products. Today, HP is still operating in Roseville and has even expanded since then. NEC Electronics, which had over $43 billion in sales, moved into Roseville in 1983 and invested $100 million into the community. In that same year, they started construction and started production in the very next year of 1984. The Roseville Auto Mall is a landmark and is claimed to be the largest development of its kind, with the dealer opening in 1989, which include 8 major dealers and 12 vehicle franchises. 2 major medical centers opened in Roseville during the 90s, with one of them being Kaiser Permanente Hospital, which opened in 1998. Construction started in 1992 for the 255,000 square foot hospital. It was completed in 1995, but only opened in 1998 due to the reevaluation of all Kaiser medical centers. During the first year of operation, the medical center admitted 7,600 patients and treated 29,000 in its emergency facility. In mid-1998, the groundbreaking ceremony commenced for the Galleria Mall, which was anchored by J.C. Penney, Macy's, and Nordstrom, and even Sears. Construction was quick and opened to the public in 2000, just 2 years later. The Galleria Mall today now employs 2,400 people and generates millions of dollars in tax revenue for the city and county. Today, Roseville is a thriving suburban community with a strong economy, low crime rates, and excellent quality of life. And a special thanks to the City of Roseville for the amazing info on the website, and thank you for watching.